Hello, this is Atuli Abidia, and I'm going to be going over the 2015 to 2016 playoffs the first day. And I'm either going to be doing these at the end of every day of games or at the end of every round, depending on how it goes. So there were 4 games today. The Raptors played the Pacers, Golden State played Houston, Atlanta played Boston, and Oklahoma City played Dallas. If you guys don't know already, I'm both an Atlanta Hawks and a Dallas Mavericks fan, but I'll try to keep my bias out of these. So the second game of the day was Golden State versus Houston, in which Golden State won 104 to 78. In my opinion, the player of the game has got to go to Draymond Green. As much as I dislike the Warriors and all of their bandwagon fans, I do think Green deserves this award for today because he was a plus 28 when he was on the field, and he went 5 for 12 with 10 rebounds, including 2 steals, so he just filled up the stat line today. On the other hand, for Houston, the best player for them has got to be James Harden. Even though he scored 17 points, not a great game for him, especially since he went 7 for 19 from the field, well below 50%. So overall, it was really nobody for the Houston Rockets. Dwight Howard wasn't getting the ball enough to show that he actually deservedly is one of the top 5 centers in the NBA, and James Harden just wasn't making shots. From Golden State's point of view, the only person who really underperformed has got to be Matt Barnes, who went 3 for 12 from the field. While for Houston, it was basically everyone, but especially Patrick Beverley, who only scored 2 points in 20 minutes, going 1 for 7 from the field, and Trevor Ariza, who scored 7 points and going 3 for 10 from the field in 35 minutes of playing. These are supposed to be 2 of their starters and 2 of their top scorers, who combined for 9 points in 55 minutes. So changes that we could see in the second game would be for Golden State to rest Steph Curry. He played 19 minutes this game, but had to leave because of a foot injury, and he's questionable for game 2, but at the rate that they're destroying all of these teams, there's no reason to play him for more than, say, 15 minutes. Even that much might be a stretch. But from the Rockets' point of view, like I said, you have to feed Dwight. If he wants to prove that he's regained his caliber when he was in Orlando and was a top 3 center in the NBA, I personally don't believe he's one of the best centers in the NBA right now, but if he's going to even try to prove it, he has to be given the ball more often. So the final game of today was Oklahoma City versus Dallas, and this was an absolute pummeling, much to my dismay. Oklahoma won 108 to 78, and through 3 quarters, it was the biggest losing differential in playoff history at 42 points. So for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think their most important player for this game has been their most important player for the entire season in Russell Westbrook, who went 7 for 15 and 11 assists. As usual, he's averaging close to a triple-double, but also under consideration should be Enes Kanter, who put up 16 points and 13 rebounds, a solid double-double. On the other hand, the Mavs just couldn't buy a shot. Dirk was their best performer, but he only made 7 shots out of 15 attempts, and he's the only one who scored double figures. So basically, this was a completely pitiful game from Dallas's point of view. But both teams had room for improvement. From the Thunder's point of view, Andre Robertson can't be afraid to shoot the ball. Taking only 4 shots in 30 minutes a game can't be good, especially when he has multiple wide open opportunities but only made 1 shot throughout the entire game. Conversely, the Mavs, basically everyone has room for improvement, especially Wesley Matthews, who only scored 7 points in 30 minutes. And with the amount of money that he's making annually, the Mavs brought him in solely for playoff purposes, but if he's not able to perform now, maybe he was just overpaid. Now, the Thunder to change, they don't really have to change anything if the Mavs can't make a shot, but the Thunder also have to remain as aggressive as they were in this game, keep attacking the basket. And from the Mavs' point of view, the man-to-man defense that they played for the majority of the game can't hold up, especially in the fast break and transition. They have to get back and drop into a zone like they did in 2011 when the last time that they won an NBA title, especially since they went through the Thunder that year as well. And the 2-3 zone worked very well that year, and it should work well this year. It's just one thing the Mavs may have going for them is, while it might sound weird, is they can't allow the Thunder to play half court set offense. They have to put pressure at them at least half court, if not all the way full court, to force the Thunder to actually make decisions instead of just playing a half court where basically everyone on their team can score the ball. Now, the first and third games came from the Eastern Conference. The first game of the day was the only upset of the day, with the Pacers defeating the Raptors 100-90. And the Raptors have now officially gone 0 for 8 in the first game of the playoffs in franchise history. The Raptors, however, did have an unsung hero in Corey Joseph, who scored 18 points in only 24 minutes and went 7 from 8 from the line, which was one of the Raptors' most prevalent problems in this game, as they only went 68% from the free throw line. On the other hand, the Pacers were led by Paul George, who dropped 33 points, going 12 for 22 from the field, including 4 for 5 from 3. Add that to his 6 assists and 2 steals, 4 steals and 2 block shots, you've got a hell of a game. From the Raptors' point of view, the biggest flop was Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross was a starter a couple of seasons ago and was putting up at least double digits a game. He went 2 for 8, scored 5 points, and only had one big shot when he hit a 3 in the fourth quarter to tie the game up at 74. On the other hand, Ian Mahinmi, as a starter, you can't only put up 2 points and get anywhere. Or rather, he only put up 1 point. He only took 2 shots. So, changes that you may see is the Raptors look for them to put early double teams on Paul George just to try to slow him down, especially at the start of the second half when he just went off in game 1. On the other hand, for Indiana, look for Miles Turner to start, because he played a great game, and Ian Mahinmi is not good enough to be a starter. In the 4-5 matchup, thankfully the Atlanta Hawks won 102-101, even though it came right down to the wire. With 0.4 seconds left, Marcus Smart heaved a full quarter with one hand and missed. So for the Hawks, the best player has got to be Jeff Teague. He scored 23 points while Al Horford scored 24, but the main thing that Teague did was he only had 2 turnovers. One of them almost cost us the game, but for the most part, he was very good with his ball handling. On the other side, Isaiah Thomas put up 27 points, but he passed up a couple of open threes at the end, which could have allowed the Celtics to tie the game. But I have to say the most important person from the Celtics' point of view has got to be their coach, Brad Stevens, out of Butler University, where he coached them into the national championship game. He's one of the best play callers in the NBA. He drew up 3 or 4 plays near the end where Boston had wide open three-pointer opportunities. They just missed. From the Hawks' point of view, one of the biggest disappointments was Kyle Korver, who couldn't buy a shot. He turned in the first half of the season, Kyle Korver, where he was absolutely terrible. On the other hand, Jared Sullinger played subpar. He went 4 for 14 from the field and fouled out. Changes for the Hawks as you look to see more ball movement. The Hawks are one of the premier passing teams in the league, and for them to get out-assisted 23-27 is, for them, not very respectable. And you're looking at 2 of the most clinical teams in the NBA, 2 that will share the ball the most, and both teams, which are sported on the Boston Celtics warm-up t-shirts, believe that neither of them have a true superstar, so them collectively have to carry their respective teams to the finals. But from the Celtics' point of view, look for them to have more of Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk played under 20 minutes this game and is one of their best 7-foot threats. He's able to shoot the ball from 3-point and from deep mid-range, allowing them to stretch the floor, especially near the end of the game where they needed a 3, he remained on the bench. So, from my previous predictions, I predicted that the Warriors would go 4-0, so I'm on pace for that since the Warriors won. The Spurs going 4-1, I think the Spurs are going to win tomorrow, 100-80. I don't see the Grizzlies having any chance of challenging in this series, but I think going back to the grindhouse, I think the Spurs will lose one game because it's very hard to win in Memphis. But without Marc Gasol, without Mike Conley, not much of a threat. The Thunder I have going 4-2, but if all the games are going to be this lopsided, I don't believe that the Mavs can even win 2 games. But I have faith in Dallas coming back to the AAC to win the pair. The Los Angeles Clippers I have winning 4-3. I have that being my closest game tomorrow, going 93-87. I think the Portland Trailblazers can put up a decent fight because of the point guard matchup. I see that being a very, very fun thing to watch. And especially at shooting guard, where you have these not superstar level shooting guards who are playing near all star caliber in CJ McCollum versus the duo of JJ Redick and Jamal Crawford. From the Cavs, I have the Cavs winning 4-3, which may seem like a stretch that the Pistons can actually win 3 games, but in my opinion, the Pistons are the only team in the East who have the one thing that the Cavs are missing, which is a dominant big man. And I'm not talking about Kevin Love, who's only maybe 6'9", 6'10", but a 7-footer who can absolutely destroy in Andre Drummond. So tomorrow I have the Cavs winning to start off well in Quicken Loans Arena, 92-85. The Pacers, I was amazed to see the number of people who picked the Raptors over the Pacers, but I think Paul George is built for these type of situations. So I have them winning 4-2, and they won tonight. I have the Heat winning 4-1. I think the Heat are the only team in the East who can challenge the Cavs. As much as I do like the Hawks, I don't think the Hawks have what it takes to beat the Cavs. I think it'll come down to the Heat Cavs in the conference semifinals, or in the conference finals, rather. And I have the Heat winning 4-1 over the Charlotte Hornets. And tomorrow I have the Heat winning 100-76. I don't think the Charlotte Hornets can keep up with the speed of the Heat. And if Kemba Walker isn't able to get going, look for a very, very lopsided series. If he does get going, though, that's a completely different story. And I have the Atlanta Hawks winning 4-3. And after today, I'm pretty confident in that pick. I think it's going to be one of the most, if not the most fun series to watch. So thank you guys for listening, and leave any questions either on Twitter or on YouTube. I'll probably do this every day that there are games, or possibly at the end of every series, like I've said before. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know, and if you have any feedback, please let me know. Thanks.